गुरु चरण सरोज रज निज मन मुकर सुधारी। बरनौ रघुबर विमल जसु जो दायक फलचारी। बुद्धिहीन तनु जानिके सुमिरो पवन कुमार। बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहि हरहु कलेश विकार। जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर जय कपीस तिहु लोक उजागर। राम दूत अतुलित बल धामा अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत नामा। महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी कुमति निवारी सुमति के संगी। कंचन बरन बिराज सुबेसा कानन कुंडल कुंचित केशा। हाथ वज्र औ ध्वजा बिराजे कांधे मूंज जनेहु साजे। शंकर सुवन केसरी नंदन तेज प्रताप महाजगबंदन। विद्यावान गुणी अति चातुर राम काज करिबे को आतुर। प्रभु चरित्र सुनि बेको रसिया राम लखन सीता मन बसिया। सूक्ष्म रूप धरि सियहि दिखावा विकट रूप धरि लंक जरावा। भीम रूप धरि असुर संहारे रामचंद्र के काज सवारे। लाए सजीवन लखन जियाई श्री रघुबीर हरषि उर लाई। रघुपति कीन्ही बहुत बड़ाई तुम मम प्रिय भरतहि सम भाई। सहस बदन तुम रोजस गावे अस कहि श्रीपति कंठ लगावे। सनकादिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीसा नारद सारद सहित अहिसा। जम कुबेर दिगपाल जहाते कभी कौबिद कहि सके कहते। तुम उपकार सुग्रीव ही कीन्हा राम मिलाए राजपत दीन्हा। तुम्हरो मंत्र विभीषण माना लंकेश्वर भय सब जग जाना। जुग सहस्त्र जो जन पर भानु लील्यो ताहि मधुर फल जानु। प्रभु मुद्रिका मैली मुख माहि जलधि लांघि गए अचरज नाहि। दुर्गम काज जगत के जेते सुगम अनुग्रह तुम्हरे तेते। राम दुआरे तुम रखवारे होत न आज्ञा बिनु पैसारे। सब सुख लहे तुम्हारी शरणा तुम रक्षक काहू को डरना। आपन तेज समारो आपे तीनों लोक हाकते कापे। भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवे महावीर जब नाम सुनावे। नासे रोग हरे सब पीरा जपत निरंतर हनुमत बीरा। संकट ते हनुमान छुड़ावे मन क्रम वचन ध्यान जो लावे। सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा तिनके काज सकल तुम साजा। और मनोरथ जो कोई लावे सोई अमित जीवन पल पावे। चारों जुग पर ताप तुम्हारा है प्रसिद्ध जगत उजियारा। साधु संत के तुम रखवारे असुर निकंदन राम दुलारे। अष्ट सिद्धि नव निधि के दाता असबर दीन जानकी माता। राम रसायन तुमरे पासा सदा रहो रघुपति के दासा। तुमरे भजन राम को पावे जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावे। अंत काल रघु बरपुर जाई, जहाँ जन्म हरि भक्त कहाई। और देवता चितना धरहि, हनुमत से ही सर्व सुख करहि। संकट कटे मिटे सब पीरा, जो सुमिरे हनुमत बलबीरा। जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई, कृपा करहु गुरुदेव की नाई। जो सत बार पाठ करे कोई, छूट ही बंदी महासुख होई। जो यह पढ़े हनुमान चालीसा, होए सिद्ध साकी गौरीसा। तुलसीदास सदा हरि चेरा, की जय नाथ हृदय महडेरा। की जय नाथ हृदय महडेरा। पवन तने संकट हरन, मंगल मूर्ति रूप। राम लखन सीता सहित, हृदय बसो सुर भूप। सियावर रामचंद्र की जय, पवन सुत हनुमान की जय। उमापति महादेव की जय, बोलो रे भाई सब संतन की जय। जय श्री राम, जय श्री कृष्ण, जय हनुमान. So we are currently in chapter 2, and right now we are in verse number 15 of chapter 2. And this verse is a bit different from the previous verses and the verses to come. Over here, Sri Krishna is talking to Arjun, and he is telling him that you need to let go of extreme cold or heat. That means you need to let go of the fear of extremely adverse situation and favorable situations. You need to stop experiencing extreme joy and extreme sorrow. It is best to move beyond it because these are unreal. It is not your experience. It is when the senses come in touch with the outer objects and situations of people, they have that experience. You do not have any of that experience at all. Plus, it is transient and momentary. And after extreme joy, sorrow comes, right? We might be craving. Very simple example. It's not rocket science over here. When suddenly we have a extreme craving of food, probably ice cream or gulab jamun, whatever is your favorite food. You are craving it a lot, and then you start having it. Somebody gives it to you and you eat. Initially, you'd love it. You would want more, but gradually, that utility of that thing starts diminishing, and you will reach a point where even another bite of the thing which you were craving so badly, which is your favorite food, could cause you to vomit. Even the thought of it could disgust you. Why? Because you had too much of it. So that craving or desire to have that particular dish is transient, is momentary. Otherwise, you should have the desire to have that thing. No matter how much you eat, you should still want it. Does not happen, right? And that is true for everything in our life. Everything. Sit down and analyze. Geeta is not supposed to be heard or sung. It is that subtle musing and pondering that is needed to actually digest what is being said. Unless and until that is done, we would not be able to internalize and implement the learnings. It is very easy to say that we should not experience extreme joys and sorrow. Is it easy to implement it in our life? Are we working towards implementing this in our life? Is the question. Are we? Are we trying to be some? Are we trying to be equipoise? Are we trying consciously, in awareness, to be very careful with how we deal with situations and emotions? Or are we just swayed by situations and emotions? Ponder and ask yourself. When a situation comes, whether it's joyous or sorrowful, how do you react? Ask. So, in a way, what is needed is to be very alert, very alert. Self-analysis continuously. Being in awareness continuously. Not letting ourselves sway. Never react. Act. Are we able to maintain that distance between those few moments of a situation and where anger strikes? Are we able to assess and analyze our behavior? Are we able to know that we are going to react in a very angry manner, and are we able to calm ourselves or move away from that situation in time? Are we able to? Or are we in that category where we react after everything, after everything has been done? See, in retrospect, many things can be done differently. But it is not in retrospect that we live. We live in this very moment. And how we react to situations this very minute is the entire crux of these two verses. Do we have the power? Yes, we have the power. Is anger, our emotions, is extreme joy natural? No, it is not. Why? Because we are very stable, very equipoised beings. This oscillation is because of our not knowing who we are. What are we? We are Satchat Anand Swarup, ever established in everlasting bliss, without any oscillation. Have you noticed the sea? It's stable, right? It is calm and quiet. Nothing is happening there. You can empty as many rivers as you want into the ocean, but the level of the ocean won't go up, isn't it? Why? Why then this calm, ever equipoised ocean becomes turbulent? Why does it become so turbulent occasionally that it ends up sinking ships and big carriers? Why? Is it because of the turbulence within the ocean, or is it because of some external turbulence? It is because of some external turbulence. What is this external turbulence? It is many a times the moon or the winds, and at the base level inside the ocean, it could be some eruptions in probably the volcanoes or the movement of platelets. So all these are external to the ocean. In itself, the ocean is calm and equipoised. But when these external factors act, this ocean becomes so turbulent that is able to create disasters, which we have seen in the past. This is the same way we are. We are equipoised. We are calm. We are ever loving and giving. Yet those momentary eruptions of emotions whether negative or positive, are not because of us, they are because we attach to the external situations and people. And forgetting our true nature, we are swayed by them. We are swayed by them. Now, the ocean might not be able to control the workings of these elements on it. But we are not the ocean. We can control all this if we want to. Yes, if we want to. Because many a times we feel that if we stop reacting and if we stop jumping and if we are not overjoyed, if we stop experiencing these things, life is going to become boring, isn't it? So we do not want to become equipoised because we feel it is inert and dead. That is not true. Just because one is calm, quiet, and equipoised, that does not mean there is no sense of life in that person. In fact, that person who is not having any extreme behavior acts and works in the world with extreme ability. Yes, the energies of these people who are of this nature are immense. These are the people who are able to remain and win any adverse situation. It is not the ability, it is not the capability, but it is that inner peace that is needed. Because when the situation is turbulent, look at Arjun. What did he not have? Is there anything that Arjun does not have? He is an apt warrior. He has been able to control all his senses. In fact, he has done so much sadhana and tapasya. Even nidra he can control. Arjun is not an ordinary person. In this verse, in the 15th verse, he is addressing Arjun as Purusham Purusharshabha. That means that divine, that elevated soul, the best among humans, or the most fragrant of flowers. He is superior only after extreme sadhana, when you have been able to thin your mind and thin your mind of thoughts, purified your heart. Only then can you listen to the Lord, right? So he has reached that level. So the Lord is also acknowledging that Arjun is that divine individual who has done a lot of sadhana, has been able to control his senses, yet he is swaying. So over here, the Lord is saying, Yam hina vyathayante te purusham purusharshabha. O Arjun, you are the superior. You are a Shresht Purush. How can you behave like this? He is reminding Arjun that he has been able to control. Why is he swaying now? And he's saying, furthermore, Sam dukham sukham dhiram somrit tvaya kalpate yam hina vyathayante te purusham purusharshabha sam dukham sukham dhiram somrit tvaya kalpyate. Arjun, right now, that firm man to whom surely these afflict not, O chief amongst men, to whom pleasures and pain are the same, is fit for realizing the immortality of the self. Basically, he's saying, initially he said, this experience of extreme cold, extreme heat, extreme joy, extreme sorrow is not needed. And he's going on to say, what good does this equipoised nature bring? Shri Krishna is saying, endure the pain. Endure the joy. Yes. Remain dheer. Remain calm. And only then will you be eligible for liberation. What is liberation? What is mukti? Do we get liberation and mukti after we die? No. After we die, we just get reborn in different yonis, species, and loks. Mukti will happen now and here. Mukti will happen now and here when we decide it is to happen. It is a living soul that can free himself from bondage. It is a living being, not the one who has left the body. Again, he'll take another body to realize and get liberated. This is something that we need to know. Mukti does not happen when we die. Mukti happens when we are alive, living in this body, and we are free of bondages. Bondages of what? Bondages of duality. That is what Sri Krishna is talking about. What is Maya? Maya is duality. Joy, sorrow, fame, defame, loss, gain, young, old, mine, thine. Maya is this duality. And how do you break the shackles of Maya? Where you move beyond fame, defame. You move beyond joy and sorrow. You move beyond mine and thine. You move beyond these dualities, and then you have been able to break through. And so Shri Krishna is saying, to get liberated, you have to move beyond this duality. Why, Arjun? Why so much grief on looking at everybody? He has explained, isn't it, that this body will perish, the soul lives on. And many a times we know, as we discussed, but what holds us is that pain that we do not want to face. Yes, we do not want to face pain. We want joy always. And why do we want joy? Because that is our nature. What is our nature? Our nature is extreme bliss. Yes, that is our nature. Yet, we seek momentary joys and we think it will give us everlasting peace. But is that the case? The things of the world cannot give us that everlasting bliss. To be able to give us everlasting bliss, the things must be infinite in extent. Are they infinite in extent? Be it our house, be it our cars, be it our relationships, anything material, non-material, tangible, non-tangible relationships, are they infinite in their existence? Are they? Are they permanent? Ask these three questions. Are they infinite in their extent? No. We know when they will end, right? Are they permanent? No. Nothing is permanent. We discussed this. Everything is a passing cloud. And are they ever fresh? No, right? Everything grows old. Be it relationships or material things. And that is why, although we get the sense of momentary joy, it goes away and then we look for something else. Then we look for something else. We are looking for eruptions of joy because that is our true nature. Our nature is to be established in Satchit Anand Swarup, Anand, to be established in Anand. But we do not understand that Anand that we seek outside is momentary. The Anand that we are is infinite, and hence our quest never ends. Till, of course, we turn towards the source of joy. That is that divine Lord who's sitting within everybody. But how many of us want to? We never ever seek for that never-ending happiness called joy. We never ever turn to the source. We are always looking outside in the temporary, finite world, which is transient. And hence, there is this emotional turmoil going on in all of us. Nobody is free from this emotional turmoil. So now the question might be, how do we get free from this emotional turmoil? Of course, if the Lord is saying, move beyond this extreme of joy and sorrow, move beyond pain, move beyond any extreme sensation, how can one move beyond all this? Firstly, we accepted that yes, all these are temporary. Now the second problem is it is not easy to free ourselves from these. So our scriptures give us steps to work on a daily basis. Right execution daily, every minute with awareness. We have to discriminate. Discrimination is use our vivek. We have to think whatever we are doing, we have to think whether it is permanent or temporary, whether it is real or unreal, what should we pursue and what should we not. That is the first step. Second, act in dispassion and detachment. Dispassion and detachment. We have to detach from all the material things and material pursuits, and we have to attach to the Lord and our spiritual journey. Third is discipline. What is the discipline? Discipline is also of 6 types. Discipline can be Sam, Dam, Upram, Titiksha, Shraddha and Samadhan. Sam is mind control. We need to control our mind. Yes, very difficult, right? To control the monkey mind, but we have to try. Second, Dham. We have to control our senses. Sam, Dham. Control the mind, control the senses. Because we just realized in these 2 verses, verse number 15 and 14, everything is a play of senses and the mind. The joy and sorrow that we are feeling is because of the senses and the mind and how they react to the situations external to us. So mind control, sense control. Upram, withdraw. We have to consciously withdraw our senses. We have to consciously withdraw our mind from the material things. We have to move inwards. We are all outward bound. How many times are we looking deep within and introspecting? How many times are we spending time with ourselves? How many times are we actually willing to explore the truth which lies within us? When you walk on earth, we all walk on earth, right? When you're taking a walk around, look up into the sky and look at the deep, deep ocean. Doesn't this realization ever come to you? That 75% of our earth is water and we know nothing about it. So much of what we see above us, the stars, the planets, the skies, we do not know anything about. And we are walking on the surface of the earth. What lies within it, we do not know anything about. What do we know? This thought can be put back to us only. We want to look out. Right? We want to look around. How much do we know about ourselves? Kuch bhi nahi pata. Just like we do not know about the universe, we do not know about our planet, we do not know about the ocean and what lies within the earth, and we do not know so much of the hidden secrets. We ourselves are big mysteries to ourselves. In the endeavor to know everything around us, in that endeavor to really, really, really know what is happening in somebody else's life, we forget our own existence. Is it right? It's not. So withdraw from the world outside and move within. खुद को जानेंगे तो प्रभु को जान पाएंगे. खुद को जाने बिना प्रभु को क्या जानेंगे हम. खुद से प्यार करना सीखिए, खुद के साथ रहना सीखिए. Me, myself, is my best friend, and I don't even know myself. And then we expect people to understand us. हम खुद को समझे क्या अभी तक? We don't understand ourselves either. So first is mind control. Second is sense control. Sam, dam, upram is withdrawal. And then comes titiksha. We talked about titiksha in great depth in the 13th verse, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just turn and see. Yes. Verse number 14. We talked about titiksha also. In the previous verse only. Endurance. Endurance has to be built. And how do we build endurance? By repeatedly doing the same thing again and again and again. By repeatedly strengthening our beliefs and our faith and our reaction to things. By controlling the senses. Endurance. It's not going to be easy. And then faith. Faith is not that, yes, I will believe when I see. वो तो कोई भी कर लेगा. Faith is I believe even if I don't see. Can you see the wind and the air around us? Nahin, na? But we can feel it. In the same way, the clearer we get, we'll feel the Lord. And with faith, we have to walk. We have to take the leap of faith and believe that the net would appear. And the net does appear if the faith is a leap of faith. And the last is concentration. Concentration. So we just discussed discipline. Sam, Dam, Upram, Titiksha, Shraddha and Samadhan. Concentration. We are all scatterbrains, unfortunately. Always our mind is in multiple places. There's a beautiful story that I remember that God is always willing to fulfill whatever we so desire. There is a jinn, whatever we call him. And he is always running. The minute we have a thought that we want something, he runs to fulfill it. But before he is able to get our so desired thing to us, we have changed our desire and we now want something else. And then again he runs. By the time he reaches and gets it to us, we have already again changed what we want. And again this journey keeps happening again and again and again because we are so scattered in what we want. We are so momentary in our pursuits that we are never able to achieve anything in life. And the people who are able to have this concentration and focus alive. See, motivation does not come from outside. Motivation has to come from within. And after a point, motivation also goes away. You have to remember why you started doing something. The joy of initially doing something fades away eventually. But that vision, that main reason why you stepped and started walking has to be fresh in your mind, and you have to go back to it again and again, because no matter how painful or boring or repetitive your journey begins, you have to remind yourself, this was the goal that I was reaching, and no matter how horribly demotivated I get, I'm going to get up and walk. I'm going to get up and walk. I'm going to get up and walk, because there was something in my mind. And it is still there. That goal is still there. The destination is still there. That reachability and achievability is still there. And if I keep walking tirelessly, I am going to reach. It might not be a pleasant journey. There is something called Shreyas and Preyas, right? Most of these pursuits, even the spiritual pursuit, for a long time, It is not prayers. There are not pleasures in this. खींचना पड़ता है खुद को. Sometimes you have to tell yourself, no matter how much you try to stop me, I am not going to let myself stop. And then you walk on and on and on. Because it is a Shreyas path. It is a superior path. It is a good path for me. It is essential to walk on. And keeping this in mind, the sadhana should go on. These are the steps for sadhana to reach to a state where you can be called dhir, gambhir, sthit. Again, remember what are we trying to do? Shri Krishna is trying to make Arjuna sthit purush. Why? Because Arjun has the ability to become sthit, but he is not. He is not. And if we are able to follow these steps, we are able to use our vivek, awaken our vairagya, and then strengthen our discipline, we will reach the desire for liberation or freedom. Yes, that desire for liberation and freedom also does not come just overnight. Ki uthe and I have this main desire for liberation and freedom. Even if it has happened to you overnight, it is an outcome of your previous births and your tapas and sadhana. ये ऐसे ही नहीं होता है कि हाँ ओवरनाइट उठे और हमारे को वैराग्य आ गया. नहीं, you do not know how many births have you spent walking on this path meticulously, trying to become dheer, gambhir, beyond sukh and dukh. It requires effort. कब तक? जब तक नहीं हो तब तक. इस जन्म नहीं है तो जन्म जन्म की साधना है भाई. We feel कि we have been walking on this path for some 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, 10 years. Nothing has happened. चलते रहो. Hanuman ji once asked his mother. He said, माँ, राम कब आएंगे? हाँ, राम कब आएंगे? माँ ने बोला, पुत्र राम आएंगे. हाँ, राम आएंगे. तुम प्रयत्न करो, प्रार्थना करो और पुत्र फिर प्रतीक्षा करो. We just talked about prayatna, sadhana, the steps that we just discussed. प्रार्थना करो, pray, प्रभु हम पे कृपा करना, प्रभु हम पर दया करना, प्रभु हम पर कृपा करना, प्रभु हम पर दया करना. एंड फिर प्रतीक्षा करो. शबरी ने भी प्रतीक्षा की है, हनुमान जी ने भी प्रतीक्षा की, प्रहलाद ने भी प्रतीक्षा की, ध्रुव ने भी प्रतीक्षा की. हर किसी ने प्रतीक्षा की है प्रयत्न एंड प्रार्थना के साथ. दिस impatience that is embedded in all of us is the cause of our downfall and our failures, because we do not have patience. Things have to happen when we want them to happen, the way we want them to happen. तुम कौन? Yes, ask yourself, मैं कौन? Because we have become who and who and who, right? So सब कुछ हमारे हिसाब से चलना चाहिए. किसने कहा? Whenever this thought comes, na, that thought of impatience, ask yourself, तुम कौन? कुछ नहीं है हम, कुछ नहीं है. एंड यही प्रॉब्लम है, हम में सरलता नहीं है. वी कैन नॉट बिकम धीर, वी कैन नॉट मूव बियॉन्ड dualities of sukh and dukh, joy and sorrow. We cannot till we become saral and accepting and patient, till we learn the art of waiting, because we do not know whether our enough is enough for the Lord. हमें पता क्या है, आदि मध्य अंत किसी चीज का भी ज्ञान नहीं है और फिरते हैं हम ऐसे जैसे कि हम तो सर्व गुण संपन्न सब कुछ जानने वाले हैं. ड्रॉप दिस. ह्यूमिलिटी ह्यूमिलिटी ह्यूमिलिटी, बस हो गया। अर्जुन से कृष्ण ने कब बात की? When this humility came in, right? Till he was rattling and rambling, Shri Krishna did not open his mouth. When Arjun झुके और बोले मैं शिष्य तुम गुरु, श्री कृष्ण मुझे अपनी शरण में ले लो, when Arjun surrendered. बहुत बड़ी बात है. See, there are two stories of माँ यशोदा and Kagbhasundi, which really appeal to me in this context. When we talk about Kagbhasundi and Ma Yashoda, this particular event which happened with both of them has a very similar analogy there. Okay? Similar kind of a experience there. Now Ma Yashoda was trying to tie Shri Krishna, isn't it? When he had stolen the butter from his own house, then he got angry, he broke the matkis and everything. So Ma Yashoda got so angry that she took a rope and she wanted to tie Shri Krishna. But what happened was, no matter how hard she tried, no matter how long a rope she got, how much of a distance remained? 2 ungli ka farak. Right? Keep this in mind. 2 ungli ka farak. Always there was a distance of 2 finger spaces and she was unable to tie Shri Krishna. In the same way, when Kagbhasundi had taken, he's a crow, right? There's a long story which is behind Kagbhasundi. We'll discuss it some other time. So when he normally visits Krishna every time when, Shri Ram takes birth in Ayodhya, Kagbhasundi goes and stays with Ramji till Ramji is 5 years old, 5 to 6 years old, because that is the roop that Kagbhasundi worships. So now Kagbhasundi suddenly had a doubt, because when he took away the Lord's roti or sweet bread, the Lord started crying. And then there goes a very big story where he entered the Lord and he saw the entire thing there, lived inside. And later when Sri Ram smiled, he came out, laughed. And then again he ran to save his life. What did he notice? That there was 2 hands chasing him, right? Chasing him. And no matter where he went, there was a distance of 2 hands. The 2 hands were chasing him all the time. And he could not free himself. And then he fell down and all this. It's a beautiful, heart-touching episode. These 2 episodes of Ma Yashoda and Kagbhasundi. But what I'm trying to bring to your notice right now is the distance of 2. What are these 2 things? The first thing is me surrendering. Right? I surrender. How do you surrender? Prayatna or pratna se you surrender. Okay, that is the prayatna and the pratna. And what is the second ungli ka farak or the second hand? It is kripa. That is pratiksha ki jab kripa hogi, tab hogi. So, what is this? I have surrendered. But is Lord willing to accept me? Am I actually ready? Will I be eligible to receive His grace? Have I made myself eligible to actually receive His grace? Many people will say that the sun is always shining. That is the way the grace is always falling. The grace is always there. So yes, the grace is always there. But have I been able to tune in the frequency to reach the grace and understand and listen to it? So what are the 2 things? Surrender and grace. What is it? Atma Samarpan or Atma Nivedan and Kripa. Over here, Arjun पे दोनों चीजें हो गई है. He has surrendered and प्रभु ने कृपा कर दी है. कृपा कैसे करी? गीता सुना रहे. He is trying to remove Arjun's delusion. He is trying to drive the duality away from Arjun. इसमें Arjun does not have to put in any effort anymore. जितना एफर्ट डालना था डाल दिया. Full surrender तक पहुंचना. See, it is not easy to reach the level of full surrender. All the sadhana, tapas, all that Arjun did and that we are supposed to do, all the steps that we just discussed, is to reach the level of surrender. And once we have surrendered, the Lord will work. But surrender तक तो पहुंचो. पूर्ण समर्पण करना आसान नहीं है. जो पूर्ण समर्पण कर ले वो ही तो एक भक्त कहलाता है. पूर्ण समर्पण. And when you have actually surrendered completely, then also there will be a test to see whether your samarpan or your surrender is totally strong or not. Are you established? Or if there is a trial, will you retreat? And this that is happening to Arjun is that ultimate test. He could have decided not to listen to Sri Krishna, and he could have just abandoned the chariot and abandoned the battlefield. He did not, right? He had a doubt. He's still sitting in his chariot, still in the middle of the battlefield. The Gandiv has fallen off his hand, but it is still there. He has not stepped out. He knows that this situation is a maze and he cannot get out of it without Sri Krishna's support. And he has surrendered. He did not run to anybody else but to Sri Krishna. And so Sri Krishna is saying now, leave this Maya. This Maya is deluding you. Go beyond duality. Go beyond duality. And only if you are able to go beyond duality will you be able to totally overcome what? Overcome this bondage and become free. Think about it. Think about it. See, we have just discussed a few points today. How to overcome duality? What is needed to overcome duality? Can we overcome duality ourselves? And the answer to all of them is yes, we can reach a level of surrender, but we need His kripa to overcome duality. What is kripa? What is His kripa? His kripa is when we are able to hold on to His feet. How can we get rid of Maya? How can we get rid of duality? We have to stop holding on to Maya and leave it and hold on to the Lord. How will this happen? When it happens. Most of us have seen this happen. Let's take a very simple example. Yesterday was Republic Day, right? How did it happen? It happened like the soldiers. When you look at the soldiers, in spite of being in pain, in spite of being tortured, in spite of all the adversities they had to go through, many of them do not give in, nor do they reveal the secrets of the nation. Why? Because they have a greater cause in mind. Something which is greater and beyond themselves also. They are able to endure the pain inflicted because of the greater good, because of their loyalty towards the nation and its citizens. And these soldiers do it like every day. They die for a greater cause. They die for the safety of a nation. Haven't we seen mothers and fathers sacrificing so much in their lives? Why? For the better future of their child, because that has become a greater cause. That is something which has helped them move beyond themselves and their selfish interests. For their child, they can even go and fight a lion and risk being killed and tortured themselves. At that time, the child is a priority. For a soldier, the nation is a priority. Whenever the vision becomes bigger than the self, miracles happen. An individual performs things which are considered to be superhuman. Was it not in him all the time? It was. But unfortunately, because of that boundaries that we have created around ourselves, the boundary of the body, the boundary of the mind, the boundary of the soul, the selfish interest, we are unable to connect with the universe and act. Over here, Shri Krishna is telling Arjun, go beyond your selfish interest. Go beyond your selfish quest. Go beyond your selfish attachments. Think about the greater good, O Arjun. ये युद्ध धर्म और अधर्म का है. ये युद्ध तुम्हारा नहीं है. That is what Shri Krishna is saying. He is reminding Arjun of what he needs to focus on. He is reminding Arjun to break these shackles and break the boundaries and expand his thinking and his heart. We have seen examples in history where even the maids, of the palaces have saved the princes and the prince. Why? We have heard this story, most of you must have heard it, where a mother was running with her child and the prince. And she realized that the prince might be killed. And the prince and her child were almost the same age and the same size and everything. So what she did is she changed their clothes. She put the clothes of the prince on her own child and she dressed her child as the prince. And while running, the child got caught and the enemies killed her child thinking that he was a prince. Mothers, again, have replaced their children, have put her own child in place of the prince on the bed, and he has been killed in front of her very eye. Why did she do it? Because of the greater good. She knew that if she is able to save the prince, the entire nation will benefit. This is not something that we have not seen happening around us. But it requires us to awaken that desire to look beyond selfish interests. And that is what Shri Krishna is doing. Don't think about your immediate benefit. Don't think about what is going to give you pain and joy. Think about the greater good, Arjun. तुम जागो, सुख दुख में मत उलझो. तुम्हारा सुख, तुम्हारा दुख is immaterial. It is not necessary right now. Think beyond yourself. Think beyond yourself, O Arjun. And you are a superior human. You are the crown, like the creme de la creme amongst everybody else. You are that superior being. Even in the race of men, you are superior. And yet, you are sinking and stooping down to a very selfish end. And Krishna is not only talking to Arjun here. See, Arjun is tapasvi, right? But we have also got this human day. We have done a lot of tapasya to reach this level. And what are we doing now? Now we are in deep slumber of selfishness. That is what causes Sukh and Dukh. We'll continue verse number 14 and 15 in the next session. Before we move on, I would request all to ponder on these verses, on these words of Geeta. So much should be the pondering that we should not be able to sleep at times. It is a very good saying, right? Dreams are not which I dream of when I sleep. Dreams are those that do not let me sleep. Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Shri Ram, Jai Hanuman. Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murari, He Nath Narayan Vasudeva. Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murari, He Nath Narayan Vasudeva. Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murari, He Nath Narayan Vasudeva. He Nath Narayan Vasudeva. He Nath Narayan Vasudeva. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Ram Lakshman Janaki, Jai Bolo Hanuman ki. Ram Lakshman Janaki, Jai Bolo Hanuman ki. Ram Lakshman Janaki, Jai Bolo Hanuman ki. Jai Bolo Hanuman ki. Bolo Bajrang Bali ki Jai. Jai Shri Ram, Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Hanuman, Jai Hanuman, Jai Hanuman.